Hey everybody, this is King Gabe here, coming at you live and in person. Well, on the audio anyway. Anyway, we're about to say, hope y'all enjoyed the Scooby-Doo reaction of the 2002 live-action movie that Brownie had with Mal, sort of them going at each other. Um, Before we go into Scooby Month, which was mentioned at the end of the video, to be continued in Scooby Month, before we go into that, we're going to take a moment here to have a personal one-on-one interview slash discussion, even though it's kind of more of a discussion because as during this interview, it started kind of really got to talking and everything. But anyway, an interview discussion with none other than Clare Carey. Yes, she is the, as the voice actress behind the voice of Mal in Brownie's reaction to the 2002 Scooby Doo movie. So we're gonna have a little slight interview with her about how she liked being part of this, and also find out quite a bit about what she has planned for the Descendants franchise, as she tells us in her own words about the way she has envisioned for Descendants in what's called Descendants Untold. Also, before we go into the interview discussion with Claire, be sure to hit that like button if you like what you hear at the end of it and everything. Subscribe to the channel, and that definitely help us out. Oh, and also don't forget to buy some of our available comic books, as well as support us on Patreon. Oh yes. Now, on with the interview. First of all, what made you interested in Descendants there? What got you into the franchise?
I feel like the concept of Descendants got me interested. Like, four kids of the villains, yeah, that really could work. Like, really well, actually. And it's like, you can get, like, some deep kind of character stories from it. If you just, like, Maleficent having a daughter, she would, right there, she would be the mean girl. She would be the hellspawn. She would be the baddest thing, and that's what I was expecting. Then I watched the movie. They missed opportunity there. All the Descendant really is missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And why have it in like modern day? Why have it like somewhere like where it kind of makes sense in the 1930s? The tablet, like you do not use a book. You use a tablet. I'm like, I was 15 when I saw that, and it was like, I'm 15. We all know what books are. Use the book. Use a book, please. And they don't do that. Yeah, and I feel like one of the out of the laws wasn't caused by the heroes. What if it was caused by Hades himself? Or he just had hey, I'm just gonna create a place for the villains just because.
So you think Hades should have probably been behind the villains?
The Isle. I think he should have been behind the Isle. And when the heroes found out about it, they're like, "Oh no, this is not good." And they have kids. Let's rescue the kids. That's how it should have went.
Yeah, that. Then the whole.
I feel like the sequel kind of hooked me in again because it had Uma and McClane. I really liked her, but it was like they missed an opportunity with her too. But Harry and Uma kind of looked like they could be a couple, so I'm interested in that relationship. Never explored.
They missed out on that.
Why do we get Val in bed? They're not even. It could be interesting, like a reverse Beauty and the Beast. Ben's the beauty. How's the beast?
Yeah, that's.
She's not human. If she's the daughter of Matt Lefson in the 80s, she's not human.
She would be half god, half goddess, and sort of I guess you could say an evil mistress goddess kind of mix. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. But it's just like, and then the third one, when do you think maybe we can get like a character arc from Mal, like trying to find her father again? Not even that. we get evil Audrey.
Yeah.
And it's not even possessed. Like, why can't they just possess her? Or have the soul Maleficent possess her? She acts like that.
Yeah, especially you consider the fact in the first movie they turned Maleficent into that little lizard, and Mal still held on to that lizard. Kind of weird that when she went back to the Isle, that Maleficent didn't all of a sudden pop back up. I'm back again.
Everyone would have been groaning if that happened.
Oh boy, it's.
I think they couldn't afford. I don't think they could afford Kristen Chenoweth. Like, why didn't they put her like she was in the 1940s film Sleeping Beauty? Why not that? Like, why not use those actual Disney characters? Why use new ones?
Yeah, because that's what the. Because I actually even had thought about that concept.
Like, you couldn't afford Angelina Jolie.
The one that played in the Maleficent movie, yeah.
She was good. She's good as Maleficent, but the problem was they turned her into a villain, and it's just, why can't females be villains?
Yeah, I think somebody, what was it? There was a reviewer that made that. It was somewhere I heard that somebody mentioned that with. Oh, that's what it was. Bob Shaw's review of that Robert movie when they made it the guy that had absolutely nothing to do with this whole situation, made him the big baddie there instead of the lady.
I like with my characters now, this will hopefully, maybe bring back the female Pentels, the villains, and not have Kristen Chenoweth as Maleficent.
Yeah, yeah, that would probably be because I'm actually looking forward to seeing that when it comes together, the whole story all together. Then like what you were saying about the time period, yeah, because first thing when I saw those Descendants movies, you're thinking like, okay, so you pull these people from the time when there was no tech, yeah, and then all of a sudden they're just instantly here in modern day, like it's nothing. Like
I have a theory. What if, like, in the 1930s, what if the genie was aware of all the films and he brought the heroes in 1930s and created Ordon?
We're talking about the genie from Aladdin?
Yeah, genie from Aladdin. And in Hades, for no reason whatsoever, because it's Hades, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to have, like, a place where all the villains can come in. Like, this is basically a nice hell for them. Like, it's like castles, fine dining. It's dark, but it's like gorgeous and like landscapings, and it's just like a gorgeous house. Putting it nicely, and he created it. But that's where he met Maleficent, because she was the first to go.
Ah, of course, yes. It's like
And then one thing led to another. We're not going to question. You know he was going to get some hot tails from Maleficent.
And end up with Mal.
And then we end up with our hellspawn for the movie. She's not the main character. CJ is, because as I was writing Mal, I'm having her do the most despicable things so much. And it's just like, I made her too evil. And I'm like, you know what? With Bob, if she's evil, she has to own it.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely what he pointed out there. Yeah, and they kind of.
It's like people are gonna say, what? Like, someone asked me, what do you want people to think of Mal? Like, what do you want to like? And at the end of your second film, you want her to like be, actually save, Ben at the end, but she still gets punished, because of her crimes.
Sort of. So in other words, she would probably do what Audrey did, but it would be Mal. She would
Mal, like, because like at the end of like the second film, it's like it has like an intense like climax. She finally finally turns into the dragon. And she does she attacks Uma, she's like a classy villain, like the most classiest villain you would ever meet. She's like very charismatic. She's proper. She's classy. She's classy. It's kind of like opposing to Mal's evilness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of opposite evils. Would you prefer the classy villain, or would you prefer like the straight out evil hellspawn that is Mal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I would.
I think that's what annoys Mal is that Uma and Harry are just like Gomez and Morticia.
Yeah, because they're in love with each other there.
Like overly passionate, and that's like I'm gonna make the audience love them. I'm going to make them love them. It's like they're kissing each other. They like tango with each other. They're all over each other.
Oh boy.
And Mal is not so better because he likes Ben, but not in the ways you think.
Yeah, like I think
he's lustful over him.
Right, and then make Ben like a pet to her, more so.
More like a mindless, have him be like mindless, and like he doesn't want him talking.
Sort of like the concept of the movie The Wicker Man, how the ladies treated the men on that island.
Yeah. It's like he's a mindless, like he wants him to be a mindless slave, not spelled, but mindless. Like he can't talk, so she can just like. My cousin and I were talking about this. She was like saying she can fill up his abs, maybe even more if she wanted.
Then sort of snap her fingers like.
She wants his abs. She doesn't want his personality or him talking. It's just his abs.
And to say,
I had one scene in mind that me and my cousin act out, and my other cousin was like, so they pour they pretend to accidentally pour gravy on his shirt, and I was like, oh no, that means you gotta take off your shirt. And then she goes further and then has one of her friends pour cranberry juice on his pants, and she's like, oh no, you gotta take off your pants. And it's like, for the love of God, someone stop her.
And I could kind of, and remember how like Audrey was freaking out in the reaction there. I could actually picture how her reaction to this would be.
And she's witnessing them like kind of stripping them a bit. Because I kind of wanted to make clear that it's bad when you do this to a woman. It's bad when you do this to a man. I know it's funny, but what happens when a girl's harassing him?
Yep.
When girls are harassing, can we show that on film?
Yep, but it does. But because of how Mal's character, yeah, you can definitely see why she would do something like that.
She's not interested in his personality. She wants a prince at her disposal. Like she just wants him, not to rule by her side by side, but have like a mindless slave, like basically, and like do whatever she desires. And it's like she wants those abs, like forget the personality, forget his charming. She just wants his abs.
It's sort of like another reverse syndrome that's like is like what Jafar did when he took over in Aladdin, what he did with Jasmine in the animated movie.
Yeah. Like what happens if a woman does that to a man?
Yep. In other words, something like this can go either way.
And he's like, my cousin likes it. Like my cousin who was like who if I do take off my. Oh, actually, I know this sounds bad. He was we were playing with his practice dummy. He has practice dummies, and we were pretending this dummy was Ben. So we were having oh no, you should take off your shirt.
And how did he?
And then
how did he take it?
What?
I said, how did he take it?
We didn't tape it. We just acted this out.
Oh.
And then when Audrey came in, because he came in right when they, oh no, you should take off your boxers. And she's and poor Audrey's oh God, I don't want to go in there. and the nurse comes in, the female nurse comes in, and what are you kids doing? And it's and then we see Malik feeling up his abs. And she's I want you. I want you, but I want those abs. She has these obsessions with them. When he actually takes off his shirt, oh, that's eye candy for Mel.
Sort of. So he got an obsession with that and also fire.
Because he's oh wow, you minus that goody two shoes personality, you have a beautiful body. I can forget your boring personality and your goody two shoeness and the fact that we bicker a lot, but oh God, you have the best body. And he's thank you. I think I'm gonna put it back on my shirt. And I was no. Leave it off. It's funny because you kind of, know her at least.
Right. Yes. That would definitely be.
He's not interested in his personality. It's kind of a metaphor for people being interested in the person for their looks.
Right. Yeah. They would want the look, but they don't care about the personality.
I'm trying to say this is why a relationship between Mel and Ben wouldn't work. Because they're both evil. Ben's good, Mel's evil, real evil. In the second, in the second film, we try to have Ben try to be nice to her when he goes back to the aisle, because at the end she stays on the aisle and you know why I told you she does kill her mother? Because I feel that is the ultimate revenge on her mother, just being killed by your own hellspawn that you created yourself. That's a stab to the heart.
Ouch.
Ben tries to be nice, and Edie says, you're in the same situation your mother was. Mel's keeping you hostage in a castle. How about try to appeal to her humanity or something. And he does try so hard. And all Mel can think about is his abs. He's it's a running gag. She's saying, she said, before we talk, how about you just take off your shirt? And he's now I'm not taking off my shirt. And she said, I will. He said, okay, would you prefer fire then? And he's fine. He's unbuttoning, and she's slow. Unbutton it slow. And Ben's I have to put up with her. I have to put up with this.
Oh my goodness.
With being held hostage by her.
Let's see. Next question. How did it feel to play Mal in the Scooby-Doo reaction video?
I was kind of nervous at first because I know she's I made her evil, way too evil than I probably should have, but it's maybe I could dumb it down for more comedy, but have her still try to release her father.
Oh, yeah.
It was hard. I played her more comedically.
Yeah, no, because of the because of the reaction video there.
So, like, since it was a more comedy, I thought I should play mine more comedic. And I tried, like, to, like, you know, like, kind of, like, pay tribute to Maleficent.
Oh, yeah, with the evil laugh and stuff like that.
And the curse.
Yeah, that was actually, and then I like how in it you mentioned about the reference to Audrey mentioned about the reference to Bob Shaw of what she had done sending him all the Descendants movies. That was a fun.
Like, I thought one if Mal was the one who did that to him.
That was a fun little Easter egg there.
Because I'm like saying, like, whoever sent that to him had to, like, you know, got him angry or something. Like, every time they said run to the court, he's like, ah!
Yes, that scream.
He was, like, screaming. And I'm like, oh, wow, I could use this.
Like, can't you tell how excited I am? And
I have, like...
I said the funny.
I have, like...
what
do you say?
I was about to say the funniest one since you mentioned about the screaming was when he went off screen reviewing the third movie. Finding out about Hades being the father. Oh my God! Why in the world is that? And then he comes back looking like a hot mess. Are you okay?
I think we said we're from two different words. Why? Because my dad is on the door of the stadium himself. You upperclass. I should use this for my second film. I said he's like I wanted like Ben to say, like, you know, we belong together. I can take you back to Oregon. We can be friends. And she's like, listen, I gotta show you something. And she like takes him down like this, like through a secret passage. She takes him down, and it has like this like huge picture of Hades, like a huge portrait of him.
Whoa!
And he's like, I know you're obsessed with releasing Hades and all, but she's like saying, you know, she was like saying, you know, yeah, of course I would be. I just want to see my dear old dad again. Like, she drops that down kind of challantly. And he's like, wait, Dad? And she's like, and then she turns around and her hair goes on fire. She said, surprise. I'm the daughter of Hades too.
Oh boy.
And he's like, that's why they weren't able to keep you. That's why you kept escaping. You're not even human. And she's like, right. Kind of in like a whisper but sinister voice.
That would have made for a twist there if they had utilized that right. Like
he reveals like we don't belong. Like he said oh no, my God, we seriously don't belong together, and shows him why they don't.
Oh boy. Definitely the dark twist that we should have gotten there.
I think I do reveal in an early film like why is she so obsessed with it? Like then it's revealed that she revealed it kind of angrily to her friends that she's the daughter of Hades, and the reason why she's been so obsessed with freeing him is because you know she wants to rule the world with him. Mm-hmm. She's like the definition of Clare's little hellspawn.
Oh boy. Yep. Definitely a missed opportunity on that one there. Yep.
And Harry, don't get me started on Harry, what they did to him.
Oh boy. Sort of.
I gotta make him more like a gentleman pirate.
Sort of. Oh, you talking about in the movie? You talking about the movie version?
Yeah, they should have just made him like a gentleman.
Oh yeah, like his father, Captain Hook, kinda. The way the way Captain Hook tried to swoon Tinkerbell there.
And it's like they're actually like CJ and Harry. I made them half siblings.
Oh yeah, I looked up that about CJ when you mentioned about that was the daughter of Captain Hook and Tinkerbell. Um, so that so is Harry a rich? I know you say you're gonna make them half siblings, but is Harry originally uh born between Tink and Captain Hook, or does he have a different mother?
He has a different mother.
Oh, okay. I kind of
like they had her last. They had CJ last, and she's like the wannabe person. I kind of have her as, because it kind of follows her a bit in the other villain kid. She's like, I'm rotten to the core. Like I'm having her say that. No music, but I'm having her say I'm rotten to the core. Because if Boss was watching, I kind of want him to go.
Oh my goodness. Boy.
Like I'm kind of trolling him.
Yeah, that and then that was one thing. Cause I told cause I was talking about the CJ character to Christina there, and first thing came to her mind was like, wait a minute, if that's the daughter of Captain Hook and Tinkerbell, how in the world did that happen? When
I made it up. I actually made it up. I made her. I'm like in the story. I made it up. Like she's the daughter of Tinkerbell. Like I kind of made it up in my head, but it's like it makes too much sense. It's like a theory I had. Like Hook fell in love with Tinkerbell,
wait a
and
minute.
Peter Pan didn't like it.
Oh, but I think I actually had, but I think it was actually on. I actually Googled that though. About that information actually stated. I think like in the Descendants cartoon there, or the either that or the books that that was actually a thing.
Wait, really? So I did not make it up?
Yeah, actually, 'cause that's why I thought you had got it. From
Actually, no, I made it up. I made it up for like for the story.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, it's actually in the because the Descendants cartoon. I think Descendants cartoon. That's what I found out when I googled CJ Descendants. Yeah. Yeah.
She's like the her and Carlos. I think are the first ones to turn good in the film because they realized how bad Mao is. Like they were running for their lives from the guard in like a museum that was keeping like these artifacts. They got the spell book from the museum, and they were running for their lives. And Mao goes back, realizing he might have spotted them all, and she has like the VKs in tow after saying goodbye to Jane and Audrey. Audrey's like, "Wait, stop! I'm a safe. Wait, stop! I'm with God." Like in the middle of a chase scene, and the guard has a gun, and they're like, and Mal's like, "You know what? Let her get shot. Let her get shot." and Carl's like, "Get down, woman!" And like they run, and after that whole chase sequence, they say goodbye to Jay and Mal, and they say we never speak about this ever again. The two leave, go home. Mal not going to the mental ward, not going back to the mental ward, follows the guard to his house. There we kind of see through a window that the guard has a family. He has he has 5 kids and a wife, and they're all happy to see him, and he seems genuinely happy too, and he loves his family. And you get like kind of this like smiling reaction from Carlos and CJ, kind of like CJ like smiles, kind of thinking that it kind of reminds her of her dad a little bit. Sometimes because he was softer on her. But then Mal's like, and then like Carl's like, Mal, what are we doing here? He has a family, and she smiles evilly, like more than usual, like this gleeful smile, and her eyes are like glowing green. And it's like her hands are like full of fire. And she's like, and they're like, Mal, what are you? Without like saying a word, she flames like erupt in the house, and the family's inside. The guard's family's inside, and Mal and this like shocks Carlos.
Whoa.
And he's like, "There's a family inside." She said, "If he saw us, he will snitch on us, and we will be locked away for the end of time. Are you willing to take that risk, Carlos?" And he's like, "You know what? I'm done. I'm done with you." And he goes to run the family, but she like grabs his arm, saying, "You saved them. I will make you regret the day you were born." And she says this so coldly, but calmly. And it's like it's kind of scary. And like he pulls away from her, and he just bolts towards the house, and he's like pounding on the door to get it down. And CJ joins him, and like she like crashes through the window and gets the kids out. They're trying to find the wife and the guard, and the guard's like having a hard time breathing, like he inhaled so much smoke. And they get the wife out, but they're like trying to carry this guard who's kind of overweight, and they're like carrying him, and like they carry him out through the window, and it's like the flames are like bursting even further, and we could see the other VKs had ran, but we see Mal in the shadows, her eyes glowing green, and her hands like curled up in a fist, like she's controlling these flames. And they manage to escape the house, but the house just like erupts even further. They get away, but the guard's not breathing, and they're like pumping on his chest, and they're like crying, they're like praying for a miracle. And the fairy godmother, who I made like kind of like a helper, like one of the good fairies, she's like not really seen in the public or in modern day. It's like kind of she's either a figment of their imagination or she's really there.
Sort of like with Cinderella, like she was with Cinderella.
Yeah, she's there, and she's there when they need her the most, even when it's not really set. So she waves her wand, and they're suddenly in the hospital, and they're like, and the hospital like sees this, and they help them, and they revived the guard. And it's like they're crying, like CJ and Carlos are like crying, and they look hurt themselves. Like they got like burn marks on their hands, and CJ has like glass like sticking out of her leg, and it's like they get treatment themselves, but they're like crying. And what they didn't know, like this hospital is part of a church, and guess who's there?
You say part.
The hospital's part of a church.
Okay, this.
Guess who's there? Yeah, Audrey's there. So like before this point, it's like every time when people like the VK saw it, they groan. They're like, "Oh my gosh, she is too preachy." But does she have a life outside of God? Like they think she's kind of annoying. But she's actually the moral, kind soul of the story when it's revealed.
Because she
doesn't know that these kids are VK. They don't know who these people's parents are. All she knows is they're mental patients. And when she sees them, she asks them, "Are you okay? What happened?" And they cry, and they tell her that it was awful. Like they tell her it was Mal, and they're crying, and it's like kind of an emotional scene. And Carl said, I'm done being evil. I don't want any part of it anymore." He's like, he really, like, this kind of changes his life, for better or worse. worse because now Mal doesn't like betrayers. Because now, Mal is a joke, kind of a joke, kind of a serious thing that he has a shit list.
Oh boy.
And Carlos, and guess who's on top of that? Carlos and CJ are now on top of that list.
Oh boy.
Probably number 3 and 4.
So it seems like Mal is the central. Like most of the evil is focused on Mal there.
She's like the Azula, and that's what we kind of want her to be. The Azula of this world, and like Audrey sits down with him, and he said, God gives you strength. God helps you through hard times in your life. He's your guide. He's there for you. Like, this is the first time. She's not saying God will save your soul, but she's saying God can give you strength in these hard times that you are having. And CJ's like, will he save us from now? Kind of, because she knows we snitched on her. She's going to come after us.
Mm-hmm.
And they are stuck at the same mental hospital, and they're not safe from her, basically. And he says, God will give you strength. And that's kind of what he says. And it's kind of an emotional moment, and you kind of see why Audrey is a moral kind of compass in this film. Yeah, she's freaky, but she's very
kind-hearted.
Yeah, she's kind-hearted, and they tell her who's their parents, and she's not shocked about it. She says, I'm not going to judge you by your parents' actions. You guys did nothing. You're just kids. You're like me. And it's kind of like, it's what we should have gotten from Audrey from Descendants 1.
It's sort of like,
it's kind of like, this is what she should have been.
She's almost, another example, being that, the whole holy aspect and, trying to reach out to them is almost like a female version of, Jesus on the earth, how he reached out to, the sinners and Republic, Pharisees and all of that. And a lot of people wonder, like, why are you hanging out with all these sinners? He's like, he's practically the doctor to the sick, and the sinners are like the sick, that he's the doctor to help them out with their problems. They're pretty much like Audrey, like what you just said with Audrey. She's pretty much.
And that's what she is. And when we first meet her through Ben and Chad, and they're like, so do they need someone to save their soul? And they're like, no, Audrey, you do not want to meet these kids. And she's like, no, I really want to meet them. She doesn't know about like their villain parent. She doesn't know, and they don't want to tell her either. Because like Mal's like we don't know. Like for newcomers, like saying we don't know this is our Sleeping Beauty, but it's like she's like I hope to God she does not meet Mal. And guess what happens?
She meets Mal.
Audrey meets Mal. She meets Mal, and she's like having a seminar with these VKs, and all the VKs are wearing like patient uniforms, and Mal is him, and you can see kind of like Mal's distaste when Audrey's like talking about God, Jesus, and how you can save your soul, and we get like Mal's like saying, "Oh please, there's no such thing as God. There's a such thing as gods." Like we get our knowledge of Greek gods.
Oh yeah, because of Hades and Hercules and all that there.
Yeah, and Audrey kind of gets interested in her. Afterwards, Audrey meets again with Mal, and she's like, I'm so interested in your aspect of Greek gods. Would you like to share with me? And there's like a moment of silence. Mal views Audrey. She views her clothes. She views the blonde hair. She looks like the similarities, and it dawns on Mal. this is a daughter of Sleeping Beauty. And it doesn't have to be said. She looks exactly like her mother. And it's like, and like Audrey did nothing to Mal. But Mal just automatically hates her.
Because of Audrey's mother.
Yeah. And when the nurses revealed to Audrey, Mal, how do we put this? Her mother is Maleficent. And you're expecting a scared reaction from her. And Mal's expecting a scared reaction from her. Guess what we get? No, she immediately hugs Mal. And she says she forgives Maleficent.
Mm-hmm. And the difference here is that Audrey's actually sincere about this.
And she's like saying, we can be phone friends. And Mal just is completely disgusted by that idea. Mm-hmm. It's like her face and Audrey hugging her. It's like she looks disgusted by this.
It's not Mal's thing at this moment there. Okay, so going to Captain Hook and Tinkerbell's daughter CJ. Is it since I know Tinkerbell's magic because she's a fairy, and know how in Peter Pan, most of the time you saw her like about this small. Is she in your story, or I guess in the continuity of the fact that her and Captain Hook have a daughter in the first place? Does this mean that Tinkerbell or fairies like her have the ability to become human-sized when they want to?
I was going off the Tinkerbell movies, and I feel like this is what CJ tried to, what Tinkerbell tried to tell CJ. Mm-hmm. Well, when a mom and a dad are happy, a fairy gets happy, and she gets a petal, and she creates a fairy baby. And her older sister here is like, you know what, she's 14. Can't you just say you turned into human size and you had it and you got your freak on with the captain? And CJ said, yeah, why can't you just tell me the truth, Mom? She said, I didn't have it with your father. Then how was I born?
Oh, man. Yeah, please be honest. Birds and the bees now. Come on.
Just be honest. You turned yourself human size, and you got on with Captain Hook, and that kind of confirms she did do it. She just wanted to be appropriate.
And that it's kind of funny that, that we're talking about Tinkerbell being able to become human sized to do something like this, and that's what I just mentioned about Tinkerbell obviously must have the magic ability to become human sized, because it just made me think back to the Peter Pan play that my school did, where in which that was because it's a stage play. First scene, you see a little red dot that's supposed to be Tinkerbell. Then when they enter Neverland, she's the same size as Peter and the other kids there by played by one of the other kids. Which so that sort of made me think of that. And the fact that she hooked up with Captain Hook, in I actually can kind of see that, considering when Peter banished her for trying to kill Wendy, and she flies off the hook, like, oh well, Tinkerbell, I can kill Wendy for you. So I kind of could see something like that happening while Tinkerbell is with Hook during that time.
Right, but I think they reunited years later, and Tinkerbell found the aisle, and then she saw Hook.
Oh,
And like, this is how like Grandma Hook puts it to CJ. She said, "Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. Well, years ago, 14 years ago, I might add, your mother was flying around, and she saw your father in this strange castle place, and they met up. They got a bedroom, and they made you." And Harry's like, "Can you just tell her they had sex and made the girl?" That's how my mom hooked up with my dad.
oh my god. That just oh my god. Now you just made me think of John Witherspoon when he in the Wayne Brothers was telling about how he met their mother. He's like, ooh. He said, how do you do? Good looking. What you got cooking, sugar dumplings? What happened next? Sean, and then you. And it was like, oh!
And
oh,
like she has like CJ has issues with her half sister because her half sister had issues with Captain Hook, and she's like kind of she's the tough big sister, and she's tough on her little sister because she thinks she needs like discipline a lot, so she kind of bullies her a bit, and you know, like the grandma said, you keep doing this, and you keep having fights with your father because you think she needs discipline. We're gonna lose her.
mhm.
We're gonna lose CJ and then Harry, and it's like that's kind of their family dilemma. And when the royal guards came in to take CJ and Harry, who escaped but got hurt badly and who got believed to be dead, which we'll get into that. It's like she was like saying, you could have prevented this. You could have protected her more. And Harry was like, what? And Harry is like, what do you expect me to do? The girl is like, you tell her not to do something, she's gonna do it. And she snuck my cigars in her pockets.
Oh yeah, because Hook had those cigars there.
Because like she's like, oh, I'm like my daddy, and she's like tries to like do a cigar, and she tries to handle it in front of the VKs to make her look cool. What this does to the poor girl? First of all, CJ looks like she's a 12-year-old. That's kind of what I put in the book.
Oh yeah.
But she's 14. She has this youthful look about her.
Yeah, sort of like her mother there.
And it's like it looks like a 12-year-old smoking a cigar. And they're like, are you okay? Are you sure you can handle it? CJ says, of course I can. I'm Captain Hook's daughter. And she's trying not to cough.
Good boy.
And then like she can handle rum better than she can handle the cigar. So she's reckless a bit.
I see.
And she's like her mother. And we kind of like diagnosed the VKs with disorders. What I had for CJ, like, isn't theorized that Tinkerbell had borderline disorder or a mood disorder, like indicating she would turn red or different colors in the face.
Yeah, they in that not the Disney version, but that live action Peter Pan movie, she kind of had that thing going with the moods.
And we thought, like, what if CJ has a mood disorder, and it kind of comes off a little bit like her ranting and raging a bit when they said, okay, you just need to wear the hospital clothes, you gotta take off the dress, and you gotta take off the coat. And she gets very angry immediately.
Oh boy.
Like, her face turns red, and I had an idea of, like, what if we flash, like, a flashlight that's red in her face, and to make it look like, she's her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, she's not a fairy. She is when she, remember the dark part about Maleficent that I emailed you about?
The talking about the live action movie or the
one where I emailed you about Maleficent, where she's like touching CJ's face and like saying, like saying, "I'm giving you mercy by killing you."
Okay, what you in your writing there?
It is kind of like a scary scene. But it kind of relates to kind of today where a lot of people are dying.
Oh yeah, with the stuff going on there.
Yeah, and CJ, he's like, I don't want to die young. I don't want to die young, and it's gonna happen because he's gonna be sacrificed to free Hades. Because I guess what you could say, like, that's something that replaced the magic wand as the MacGuffin is the child of good and evil.
Oh boy.
It's like a chosen one. But the twist with this chosen one, she's chosen to die.
Oh boy.
Like, she's chosen, alright. She's chosen to die. In a way.
That would Sphinx with thinking. What exact? I know Peter Pan is one that never grows up. Is there any mention of him in the Descendants there?
My cousin made me put him in the second film, where it's going to reveal that he kind of went to Neverland after the shock of dying and being resurrected as her mother, like a fairy.
Wait. You say who resurrected now?
CJ was resurrected as a fairy.
Oh, okay.
So she went there and she befriended Peter Pan in Neverland. And off screen, I said that they kissed because they're both 14.
Okay, and, Peter never ages past that.
Like Peter Pan kind of kissed her because like maybe it was because like hey I kissed Captain Hook's daughter, you can take that, you old cop. And he even tells Harry this when they first meet. He's like, "What did you do?" And they said, "So wait, were you two dating?" He's like, "Oh no, of course not. Of course we wouldn't be dating." Even though he's my age.
What is okay? So now Peter kissing CJ is almost what is this almost like the equivalent of that just made me you remember Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
When
I never saw Iron Man 2.
You never saw it?
No, I saw the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a scene in the second one. You remember the character Nick Fury, right, in the MCU?
Yeah.
He showed up in the second Iron Man movie to talk with Tony, and this was the first time he found out about Black Widow, and he's like, "What?" And then she sits next to Fury, and he sort of gestures his arm around it and looks at her, and then looks at Tony like, yep, what you gonna say? like a hint.
He's trying to provoke Harry. He's like, your sister's pretty, and he said she's 14. You may look 14, but you do not have a mind of a 14-year-old. Do you have no shame? Like, this is what Harry said. Do you have no shame? Yeah. You cut off my father's hand. You humiliate him. You make him miserable. And then you kiss his youngest daughter that he loved dearly. Do you have no shame?
Is Peter gonna be more like his Disney counterpart, or the one from the live action that Brownie reacted to shortly, not too long ago?
I think more of the Peter Pan movie.
Some of the live action one.
No, the Disney one.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he was
the movie Disney, like the original Peter Pan. Because he was a lot more, mischievous, and I can totally buy that he would get a kiss from Captain Hook's daughter.
Yeah, because I definitely saw like when he was sort of making jokes with the mermaids, and then when Tiger Lily kissed him, and he was like,
It's like the mermaid toy, and like she's like she could be my next Tinkerbell, and that's where like Harry and Harriet don't get along. The two older Hook siblings, do not get along with each other, and this is the first time they kind of come together. They have like Harry has his hook under his neck, and Harriet has like her sword next to his face, and he's like, I get his neck, I get his face.
Oh boy.
And then I have like a deleted end credit scene where CJ is like trying to have Harriet talk to Peter Pan in the therapy scene, and they have Freddie, who's unlicensed to be a therapist.
It's almost and you know with the mental ward thing and the mental hospital, you know what another I know you probably like there's a million references coming from this. This is almost like a fairy tale version of Arkham Asylum. A fairy tale Arkham Asylum, because first thing came on my like
it's kind of like the Grimm fairy tales, but it's more like the Addams Family, like the Barry Jeinen films, Berenstain films.
Yes, and the inspiration that you had for Uma and Harry with yeah.
And I think what's inappropriate is that when Harriet is broken down after her sister's death in the first film, and her sisters and her brother's death, she's been drinking, she's been having now let's say inappropriate relations with her crew members to make her feel something because she's going under depression.
Oh boy.
And Uma comes to see her, and she's like trying to get her back to herself, kind of like she would do with kind of like Morticia would do with Gomez, or she's like, listen, I had Harry steal this, and she's like, what does it matter? And it's like she's drinking, and she's not even dressed, and she's like, Uma's trying to play it straight with her, and she's like, and Harriet, what? I got you some clothes. Put them on, please.
Oh,
and it's like when we think we get her back, is when she sees her sister finally. Okay, but she's still mad to see her. He's like, you were alive this entire time, and you did not come to me? I had so many rum and so many crew members that I can't even say it. Because there's like little kids around her, like the Lost Boys. They're like 7 and 9. And Harry's like, and CJ's like, you can say it. She's like, you know I can't say it. I hate you so much.
All right, Woody and Mr. Potato. Like, the word I'm looking for, I can't say it because there's preschool toys around. You got kids there, yeah.
Because CJ did. What did you get it out with a couple of crew members? He's like, I'm not having this talk with you. He said, I thought you were dead, okay? So that's why I did it.
Oh boy.
But she gets kind of mad when she finds out that CJ has been hiding out in Neverland. And she's like, Jay has been living in Neverland this entire time for a year. And she hasn't came home since. And it's like, we kind of add, like my cousin said, you could do what they did in Frozen 2. Have, like, Harriet hear this, like, siren or something. And she's, like, trying to block it out. She's, like, drinking, and she's like, talking to your partner in bed and saying, do you hear that? And he's like, hear what? And he's like, just hand me the glass of rum. He's, like, trying to drown it out with rum. And Uma's, like, saying, have you been hearing a siren? And she said, yes, I can't even drown it out with rum. I don't even know who this is. And she's like, it just sounds so familiar. And she said, I think your sister is calling out to you. and she's wanting you to call her back. So she's expecting her to sing to her in this funny scene, and she's like, I am not singing back. It's like, ah, and they're expecting to do this, ah, kind of like that, and they're expecting her to sing to her. Like Uma tries this, ah, no response, and she said, I'm not getting a response, but if you do it, you will get a response. And she's like, can I have the rum back? And she's like, no, do it. Don't drink it. Don't drink it. You need to sing clearly. She's like, and then it calls back, and they like sing back and forth, and she's like, it is her. It is CJ. And like she's happy, and she's like, and then she suddenly gets back. She said, he's been alive this entire time.
Oh man.
Because she has major anger issues. Like there's some PKs that got left on the IO who kind of needed his help.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know it's focused more. I know the whole thing is focused more with the village, but seeing how you got like the son of Jafar and then also the daughter of Ursula, um, does that mean that the children of Prince Eric and Ariel or Aladdin and Jasmine are anywhere somewhere?
The plot twist I was coming up with that a lot of people, like in Bonchill's review, like said he's like the son of Aladdin. He's not the son of Jafar. He's like an Aladdin ripoff. And I thought, this could be a brilliant plot twist if they did this right. Okay, some said it was stupid, but I actually think it's brilliant.
Yeah, what was it?
What if Jafar stealed when he was brought back to life, or somehow stole Aladdin's and Jasmine's kid and took him to the Isle of the Lost. He named him Jay and taught him everything he knew. So he really is the son of Aladdin, but it's the ultimate revenge, actually, if you think about it.
And I'm guessing Jafar would take Jay when he's a little baby there.
Yeah.
And Aladdin.
That would be the most ultimate evil revenge that a villain can do.
That's sort of like.
And raise him as their own.
That's sort of like with the lady that kidnapped Rapunzel, Gozel.
Right. But when did she make Rapunzel evil? Jafar is like making this baby evil. And when he finds out, he's in denial about it. He doesn't want to change. This doesn't turn him good.
And I get, and the fact that Jafar took him as a baby, this would probably be why, I guess this would explain why Aladdin and Jasmine, he probably would do it in a way where Aladdin and Jasmine would not know who took their son or even where he's at.
Yeah, that's like the most evil thing we could do.
Now, what about?
Like that could be evil.
Yeah, the ultimate revenge there. But now what about with since you got the daughter of Ursula, which is Uma, Melody, the daughter of Eric and Ariel.
I don't know who would be Uma's father.
Oh yeah.
I a lot of people guess Dr. Facilier, just because.
Which would make Uma and Amelia sisters then.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind for it. And Freddie, there's a girl named Freddie in the Descendants cartoon. So he has two daughters.
That actually would be kind of a that actually poses an interesting theory. Because you remember, okay, so Ursula, I'm sorry. Because Dr. Facilier, even though he got taken, remember at the end of Princess and the Frog, he was like, "Oh, you ready? No, I'm not ready to go yet. No, 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 please, I just need a little more time." What if some kind of way, like some some dark ooka booka thing brought Ursula back, and then she heard about Dr. Facilier, and some kind of way, after what happened to him, that's how he came back because of Ursula, and and he's like,
and they had Uma.
right, and he's like, "Oh, thank you so much, thank you so much, you just."
Thank you so much. How can I repay you? You can repay me with.
Oh yes, ma'am.
You can repay me with you know what.
Well, I admit your humble service there, Mrs.
So they have like they make Uma first. She's the oldest sister.
Right. And
Freddie's second. So they basically what Ursula does is like she wants Uma because of her voice. And she makes her constantly seem like a slave in the first one. Yeah. And she's like, "I'm not doing it anymore, Mom. I'm not doing it." And he slaps with a tentacle and says, "You'll never see your siblings again. I'll make sure of it. So I'll lock you in this castle."
So and
it's like the first film. It's like she said she has siblings. Like we reveal she's siblings, but we don't know who they are.
Yep, and then another and like I said, with Facilier also accepting.
He kept the two others. He kept the two daughters.
And with Facilier accepting to do Ursula's bidding of, giving her kids. Yeah, because he would that actually fits with him because he's no stranger to making deals with the other side.
Yeah.
So yeah, this would be pretty much Tuesday for him.
Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
I guess I gotta be ready if I want to live now.
It's like he's like, "You agreed I can have the two daughters. You can have the one."
Oh yeah, that's why you don't see him with Ursula in the thing because she got what she wants. So okay, bye bye.
He's like, wait. I want to get $2. I want my own daughters. So they.
Oh boy.
It's hard to question these movies without thinking, getting hurt. Like, how do they have kids?
I tell you what, they hear when this gets out and Disney, if you're listening to us, you've gotta make some of this stuff we're talking about. You got
or let me make it.
Oh yes, definitely do that because that way Clare Carey can get top billing.
And I play CJ.
Oh yes. I thought. Oh, you know what? I know why you want to. I know why you want to be CJ because of your connection with Tinkerbell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have blonde hair.
Yeah, but yeah, that is definitely a and I assume since
Who did Cruella DeVille do? Like, I'm going with Glenn Close as my Cruella, but who did she have to get Carlos with?
My guess. Okay, remember, I quote,
Maybe Redfin.
I quote from Raven. Hold up here, Mr. Disney expert. In 101 Dalmatians sequels, he was taken to a mental institution for her spot obsession. So my guess is that whoever her doctor was may have been her lover.
Oh my god!
Think about it. The doctor, cause a real.
No. The Glenn Close. She was like the Glenn Close in the sequel was taken to a mental hospital. Yeah, too in the beginning, and she was cured of her spot obsession.
and imagine it being a handsome doctor that is responsible for it. Say, just imagine this doctor look like Chris Hemsworth. Hey.
The guy should just have like a funny like scene, like long scene where the BK's like saying, "Yeah, I know my other parent. Mine was a handsome doctor, my mom said, and they must have did it. One with this, I don't know. I don't know."
Well, that would well, I put it this way: that it's easy for her to have the delivery.
Okay, like then we have the who would have Evie? Did the Evil Queen do the Huntsman?
Talking about the guy that was. Wait, you said the Huntsman? You say?
The Huntsman in the original film, like he was trying to hunt her down.
Oh, okay.
To have her carved out.
That does have a big question mark on that one there.
Did she do the Huntsman? I should have I should just have a scene where they're just talking about their parent
Remember,
and they're getting dirty, and Audrey's like, "Please, guys, can we just say, hey, your parents had sex, my parents had sex."
You remember when you pointed out about Audrey? I mean, not Audrey, but Mal wanting Ben to be pretty much like just for his abs and everything.
Yeah, she just wants a beefcake.
This is what if the Huntsman theory is true, that could be the issue with the Evil Queen. Huntsman could have been spelled by the Evil Queen for her to do her thing.
Oh wow!
Yes, and the Huntsman probably doesn't even know anything about it, because when the spell probably wore off and Evil Queen, she got her daughter. He probably has no clue about this.
What I have in mind for Evie to act like is like she's a narcissist, but it's played super funny. She's talking about like a person she loves in her life, and the joke, and you're like waiting for the punchline. It's like, oh, this person is so reliable and perfect, kind, and just, oh me. No, wait. I was like there's a person in my life that I love so much, and I never want to let go, and I love, and we're getting the punchline out of her, and she's like, who do you love? Who do you love, Evie? And she takes out a mirror. Me.
In love with herself, of course.
She's it's obsession with herself. She deserves to be in that mental hospital because she wants to marry herself. And she's describing this grand wedding to the therapist, and the therapist kind of gets intrigued by it.
What? Wait! Hold! She actually wants to go through a wedding ceremony for herself.
Yeah, that's the comedy of it.
This is I saw something like this in I don't know if you ever watched this show, but one of Glee, my wife and I watched
Glee. Yes. Oh, I saw that scene. It was hilarious.
Yeah, she married herself.
You may now kiss yourself.
She had a license and everything to do that. And her mom was like, "What the heck is this?"
And it's a gorgeous wedding. She's trying like a gorgeous wedding with an orchestra and stuff. And it's like beautiful. And it's like the most beautiful thing ever she's describing. And the therapist says, who is this person you want to marry, Evie? At such a young age. She takes out a mirror. Me.
Oh my God.
I'll be there in a minute. She just wants to marry herself. And her friends are no better. They're like encouraging it. They're like saying, "Hey, Evie, maybe you should get a mirror and have sex with yourself."
Oh my God. That sound more like Squidward from SpongeBob when he took a mirror to the party. He literally went to the party with himself in the mirror.
Like he's like talking like me as like a person. And she's like, don't take me for my significant other. Do not. And they're like, Evie, what are you talking about? Don't take me away from me.
You know what? You know what? You know, it would be a really good thing for that, since you mentioned about the mental thing.
Yeah.
If she's that obsessed with herself, what would happen if in her mind her reflection was talking to her?
Maybe her reflection said, I love you too, Evie. I love you very much.
Yeah, she would be the only one that would be hearing them, and everybody would be like, who are you talking to? I'm talking to me.
And they're like, Evie, you can't marry yourself. And she's like, well, this is the only person I ever relied on. My mother never loved me.
Oh, it's like, well, me will never let me down.
You may now kiss yourself. Basho will hate me for this. Because he hated Descendants. We know that for a fact, right?
Yep.
For what I know, he loves The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Him and my cousin. And it's like, he loves them. I remember in the Puppy Star Christmas review, when they said, we're like The Nightmare Before Christmas, he went on a rant for that. And he told them to go to hell. And I think he's going to hate me. I really do, because although I don't have songs, I'm going to have the daughter of Mr. Oogie Boogie be in the Descendants 3.
Oh, Oogie. So that's a character from the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He will hate me, but I'm making her scary. Because my cousin might end up playing her, but she's going to look scary like Mr. Oogie Boogie.
Oh boy.
Like there's snakes on her shoulders. There's like real spiders crawling down her.
Now one question is,
and she looks like she's made of fabric.
Is Oogie Boogie the Is that the
I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie Man.
Okay.
Wait, how do you do this song?
It's not the mayor, right?
What?
It's not the mayor that was in the movie, right?
No, not the mayor. Oh. I'm the Oogie Boogie Man.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about there.
Should I play the song for you?
Yes. I think I'm kind of remembering because I actually saw it once.
He's like holding Santa Claus hostage, and he's rolling dice around.
Okay.
He's like, I'm Mr. Oogie Boogie.
Okay, I got yeah, because I have seen
Oogie
the movie
Boogie Man
once. Yeah, I have seen the movie once.
Like, do you know The Nightmare Before Christmas? He's the main villain, Mr. Oogie Boogie.
Right, that Jack Skeleton had to deal with there.
So her deal is she's the daughter of Mr. Oogie Boogie. She's Mistress Oogie Boogie, as she likes to be called. What I have in mind, I do play CJ. For her audition, to have someone play this character is to scare me. If I'm scared and I'm convinced that you can play a good Oogie Boogie that can put me in my place, you have the role. She has to be scary, and it's like the fabric. She's a little sexy, but she's horrifying. Oogie Boogie, Mr. Oogie Boogie is made of insects. Is what I remembered.
Yeah,
She's made out of insects, so he created her. Like he made himself a daughter by himself.
That makes sense.
That's what I would think. You would get an Oogie Boogie, but the scene I have in mind for her, I know I know I said I wouldn't make it a musical, but if we're gonna have a villain song, we're gonna have a villain song. Even if if it's just one moment in the film where this is just a one musical moment.
Which would be the Oogie Boogie Man.
Yeah. I'm the Oogie Boogie Man. Like that.
Oh boy.
You should, like, play it. So it's like, she's like, so basically CJ gets captured. She's betrayed by her own sister who thinks this is the right thing to do in order to protect CJ. But CJ, having a mood disorder, kind of, is refusing, and she's like cursing out her own sister for doing this, and she's angry that her friends are captured too, and it's like, she's kind of going off at the villain. She's like, your father died. Let's make that clear. What? Your father died. And it's like he's saying like all these mean stuff to them. And they're kind of like, they're a little like, they're kind of a little like sick of her. Like, tell us where you're keeping Hades' embers. Since he got it from Mal. So he stole it from Mal in the second film, and she's been keeping it in the oak tree. Under lock and key. And what she does, she's like saying, I can't believe I'm doing this. And she kind of like, she chucks the key, like, away, and she's like, you're not getting it. So they are gonna, like, get it out of her one way or another, and Harry's like begging her, saying, just give them what they want. I'll let you go if you give them the ember. But CJ knows they're not going to let me go, even if I give them what they want. Besides, if they're going to release the ember, we're doomed. Because, the ember, what I have planned for the ember is keeping someone trapped inside.
Right, Hades.
And it's not Hades. It's his son. He had 2 kids.
Oh my god.
So Mal even was like, because you would see why Mal was even shaking the ember just to torment her brother.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's evil. But the scene I had in mind was where they said, you know what, I had enough of this. Bring in Ooga. For Oogie Boogie?
Oh.
Oogie? Ooga?
Bring in the daughter there.
Yeah, like bring her in. And they said, well, she prefer Mistress Oogie Boogie. And he's like, Mistress Oogie Boogie. So, like, because we're trying to play humor and prepare you for this horrifying scene. I'm not into horror, but Katie's like said, you gotta go all out for the 3rd film. So we bring in this character. She looks horrifying. She's moving around. She's like, and she just looks absolutely horrifying. And this is Mistress Oogie Boogie. She has spiders crawling around and like a real snake over her neck.
Oh boy. And
it's like CJ, like they have CJ like tied up, and they're like, and CJ tied up, and they're holding her, and she enters the scene. This is her introduction to the audience, and it's supposed to scare the audience. And she's like, well, what have we here? The pirate fairy? Oh, I'm really scared. So you're the one everyone's talking about. And she like kind of like, you know how Mr. Oogie Boogie dances with Santa Claus?
Right.
She's like taking a tied up CJ. She's like dancing with her. Like, you're joking. I can't believe my eyes. It's a female cover of Mr. Oogie Boogie. The Oogie Boogie Man.
Ooh.
We were kind of like reenacting the Oogie Boogie scene. Okay. And when someone shot this fella up, I'm drowning in my tears. Katie actually slapped me. She said, well, someone shot this sister up. I'm drowning in my tears. She slapped me because she's crazy. And we were interacting with this scene, and she was like, and I said, release me. And she was like, you aren't comprehending the position that you're in. And like he throws me into the hands of other VKs, and they like grab me, and they like saying, "It's hopeless. You're finished. You haven't gotten prayer." And then they throw me into like a lake full of tar that they poured in, like kind of like a tar pit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like pouring it over me. And then when she gets close up to my face, she's like, "Because I'm Mistress Oogie Boogie, and you ain't going nowhere." And then they pour the tar all over CJ's face, and she could hear the cries of her friends and stuff, even her sister. And it's like a scary kind of moment that me and my cousin kind of came up with.
Wow.
For the third film, just to get that ember. They end up getting the ember after Freddy breaks down and says she can get them through the oak tree. She gets them there and gives them the ember, and they break the ember, and out comes the fast talking son of Hades.
Son of Hades. Oh boy. So
because we're having comedy.
Is he also is Maleficent also his mother too?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
He looks like more of his daddy.
Yes, I'm finally free out of that. How y'all doing? Son of Hades. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing.
And they're like, this was holding a purse. Like everyone's confused, except for the main bad guy. He's like, this was holding a person. He's saying it's part of the plan. But he's a fast talking douchebag. And he hits on Harriet, who's like emotional because her sister's now. So they put they freed CJ from the tar because they got the ember, but they're taking her prisoner because pixie magic, fairy magic. And they're like saying, okay, how do we keep this little pest alive? And they come up with this little this bottle, this huge metal bottle, and they have like a mask, and it is like an oxygen tank, and that's probably the only thing that's kind of keeping her, breathing. So I'm in a chronological state.
Oh my goodness.
It is kind of like Katie said, you gotta go dark. You gotta go even darker than you did the first two. And she said, because she said, you have to have a fast talking douchebag in your film.
Oh boy. Oh, of course. That's quite a twist there with the ember. That like when he said the fast talking, like his father Hades made think of the joke that Bob Shaw made about him rising Audrey from the dead. There, he said this resurrection should have went more like bada bing, bada boom, bang, you're alive. Or like that there. I think your audio.
When we do meet Hades, finally, he's actually a cool dude.
Yeah, just like he was in Hercules there.
He's not evil. He's neutral. And they were trying to free him this entire time.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I looked at the Hercules movie, and saw Hades' character when he was first introduced, when he came up to Hercules' birth, I hadn't been this joked up since I got a pizza mazaka in my throat. Hey, what is this celebration or mosaic? How y'all doing? Nice hair. I kind of the way he came off when he first came in, like when Zeus was talking to him and made some jokes at him and everything, and Hades didn't like it. Hades sort of his character seemed more like an employer that doesn't like his boss, more so than a bad guy.
Yeah, Yeah, like in Greek mythology, he's not really evil.
Yeah, he's the
That's medium.
yeah, because he's pretty much just keeping harboring the dead there. When people die, that's that's where they go. They go to him.
And when we finally meet him, it's like he's this cool guy. He's this awesome guy. He's awesome, but he's not evil than the villains were making him out to be. That's kind of the twist.
Yep, which would definitely make sense with kind of makes sense with the whole reference in Hercules. Yeah, and since you like mentioned about him being neutral, yeah, because his motivation of what he did in the Hercules movie was basically, like I mentioned, he pretty much just was sick of his job and like, okay, I want to be the big dog. Oh, boy.
And I feel like, when Mal finally sees him, he's happy to see her. Like, he's happy to see her. And she's like saying, I've been trying to free you almost all my life, and here you are, me entering the underworld.
And then he would say,
he said, give your big daddy a hug. He's like a cool dad.
Like, come over here,
Man, I haven't seen you since you were 8. How old are you? 14? 18, Dad.
Almost. At least that would be better than what we got in the third movie. Because I actually made that when I watched that with Bob Shaw. That was actually that point about the song that they sang together, Hades and Mal, seemed less like a father and daughter and more like a.
Really, that was your joke?
Yes, cause that's the first thing. The way they were acting toward each other. That's what came to my mind. Like, dude, y'all supposed to be a father and daughter. Why are y'all acting like lovers there?
Did you make up the makeup sex line?
The what now?
Did you say the boss was it after surprising no makeup?
I think he may have added. I think he added that part there. I think so.
But but my version of Mal meeting Hades after so long, like because he did raise her until he was vanished by the genie.
Ah, boy.
And she's angry at the genie. She hates the genie, and the genie is now granting her wish of seeing her father. And she gets this opportunity, and she's in the underworld.
But wait, who made the wish for the genie to banish Hades, though?
He was free.
Oh, okay, that's right. So the genie.
But then he was free, but then he, after kind of banishing a neutral person, kind of got himself, back to being the genie.
Oh, so it sort of backfired.
Because it was not. Because he wasn't even doing anything wrong. He just created hell for villains. All the Disney villains who all can together and plot against the cute guys.
So the genie sort of backfired his own plan, kind of there.
And Mal really hates him, and then when she gets to Genie and she's ready to burn him because she's kind of revolting back to her evil ways, he kind of said, "What is your wish?" And she's like, "What is it? What is your wish?" And she says, "I want to see my dad again." And a pearl opens up to the underworld, and he goes in. And it's he's happy to see her. He knows he's been watching her. He has been able to watch her, right?
Right.
Couldn't he? He's in the underworld, but you can still see stuff, right?
Yep, that's you can all the people above you there.
magic little thing, circle, where he sees, like, he's been watching his daughter growing up.
Sort of like how the Fates would be keeping track of people in the Hercules movie.
Yeah, and he's happy to see her. She's happy to see him, and he's like, this is not how I imagined you to be. I thought I would release you, and we would rule the world together. And he said, hey, we can rule the other world together, just you and me, kind of thing. Because, this is like the first time you get to see Hades. Because, there's like so many attempts to free this guy. Like, how do you deal with it? And when you finally see him, you just realize, oh, wow, they went the neutral route with him. He's just a neutral guy.
Just sort of chill, like, hey, how you doing? What's up?
And he's like, he's like, well, the villains want you. And he said, what? I gave them a paradise. Sure, it's hell, but hey, it's a nice hell. They get nice meals, nice stuff. Bada bing, bada boom, bada doo.
Come on, what more do you want?
And you kind of realized they said they're using your son to do your evil bidding. And he's like, oh man, oh yeah, I did trap my own son. I forgot about that. I said, you forgot. I've been holding on to that ember for years. Have you been at least trying to free your brother?
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's where he's kind of funny at.
That would. Oh boy. Definitely a Hades plot twist there. Yeah.
Like, because the real villains are the real villains.
Right, and like you say, he's just pretty much neutral there.
But why did he leave Mal as a baby? That made no sense. Like, shouldn't they have some relation? Like, maybe, I don't know. Like, how would she know when he left when she was a baby?
That's sort of a plot. That is a major plot because it's like Kamal comes up and questions him about that in the movie. Like he's like, your mother. I didn't leave you. I left your mother. She's not the easiest person to deal with.
You're the god of the underworld.
I was like, you didn't seem to have no problem with her in the animated series. Oh my god! Cause I know that clip came from the House of Mouse there, where they show Hades and Maleficent together there. Hey, what?
It's like they don't even have a main villain.
Yeah, it's just he's there, but he's just pretty much just to give Mal a MacGuffin in Disney's version.
It's just like, it's like my version is like Mal kind of coming in grips with her. Maybe like she's like, it's a redemption arc, but she keeps like kind of going back and forth. Like, he's stealing carriages just to go to the Forever Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, and her friends kind of tag along, but they don't want her falling back to her evil self. But she's like struggling. Like, when she sees Uma, she kind of more or less lashes out at her.
Mm-hmm.
And Uma's like a very different person after like 4 years on a beach. And she's been like, she's more calmer than usual, and she's just like, she just sings to herself as she brushes her hair. And she's like a very different person, and she's like that because like she almost lost Harry again. And she's been taking care of him, and they've been taking care of each other on this beach together.
So that's how they have their little thing there.
Yeah. Like, they have this, like, beach house. Well, not beach house, but they have this little hut together, and they're...
I guess you could say. Why, my dear Uma, it's been so long since we did the tango together.
How long has it been? How long since we tangled? And Uma replies, hours. And it's like I know like Bob shows that they were a waste of space as villains, but what if Harry wasn't the first mate? What if he was a villain with Uma? Like they're both villains, but they're a villain couple.
Right on the same level there.
Like Harry's like the captain of his own pirate ship, while Uma's a sea witch. But you know, if he wanted, Harry would give her his pirates. Would have his men fight for her if commanded. Like you said, I would do anything for you on command. Like he even tells her that, and he just just admires him.
And that's what sparks the romance.
They respect each other and they love each other. But the problem with Ben and Mal is like Mal's holding him hostage, and that's not really romantic. And Uma's trying to give romantic advice to her. He's like, maybe loosen up the chains. Maybe have a romantic dinner with him. Maybe tango. And she said, I do not need your advice. And she said, hey, I'm giving you advice for romance. I am not romantic involved with him. What I want is his abs. And she said, are you just attracted to his body than his personality? And she said, what? You date Harry because of his abs, right? No, I don't. I date him because I love him. And they use the word love. Like, I date him because I admire him. They admire each other a lot.
And then, of course, Mal would be like, what?
Because Mal just, sick of their romance. And she's hurt them both. I know in the book she poured strip on Uma's head, but I thought, what if Mal did something worse to Uma? And I came up with the idea, what if Mal got a whip and kind of whipped Uma on the stomach?
Ouch.
And without rhyme and reason. Just did it.
Yeah, really. Say Mal really, that really expresses Mal's hatred.
She had she had a friendship with Uma, ruined it herself by whipping Uma on the stomach and left a pretty nasty scar. And she shows it to Ben. He's saying, listen, you gotta be careful around her. And he's like, if you're not careful. And she shows a whipped scar. And he's like, Ben almost throws up on that part.
Ooh.
Because of that reaction. And Harry shows off his scarred shoulder. And it's burn marks on the shoulder because Mal was dating Harry. And guess what Mal did? She decided, for no rhyme or reason, to hurt Harry. She lit her hand on fire and touched his shoulder, his bare shoulder, to hurt him. Yeah, but the problem with Mal is he can hurt people with no rhyme and reason.
Yeah, she stayed in the reaction. I love being evil.
Right, but then she just hurts people. In the book, these are just harmless pranks. What if she did stuff like this to people? What if this is why Uma really does hate her? Because you see Uma very vulnerable at points. Because, maybe Uma's not that evil, but, you would rather face Uma than you would face Mal.
It does kind of make you wonder about, with what they established with Ursula. Ursula had wanted to take over, the Atlantis and everything, get King Triton, by using his daughter Ariel to accomplish that goal. But so it kind of makes you wonder, considering how Uma is what how what Ursula is like leading up to her giving birth to Uma.
Because, all her life she's been, forced to sing and stuff.
Talking about Ursula?
Uma.
Oh, Uma, okay.
Because Uma's kind of like a siren. In a way.
I see.
Because, I really thought, they would make Uma kind of badass, but they made her very sassy, and I didn't really like that either.
Oh yeah, with with her constantly going, "What's my name? What's my name? What's my name?"
You hear her say, "What's my name?" She'll say it to Harry and only Harry.
Yeah, and then like okay, you lost the battle to Mal and them. They escaped with Ben, and she sort of gives you like that and then Uma's like, "What's my name? What's my name?" And Father's like, "Where do you come out on top with this?"
And I just thought Uma could be like, I didn't want to make her sassy. I kind of wanted to make her like Morticia. Like everything she says in this calm voice.
See, yeah,
it's like, and even when you want to throw some kind of like a Slimer mark, he just said it in the absolutely calmest and smoothest way possible.
Yeah, I remember because I actually showed Christina Morticia's some scenes with her there. Oh, excuse me, the best of Morticia, yeah. Yeah,
she gets some funny lines. She's like, Gomez, don't! Gomez, don't! In her smooth but calm voice. She's like, Gomez, don't! Or sometimes she's like, my baby! In that smooth voice. And that's kind of what I want Uma to sound like. I kind of want people to love her. I want her people to love her. Not as maybe she's a villain you kind of want to root for.
Yeah, sort of like the villain that you wanted to root for, like Megamind. He was which I know that's completely different, but yeah, he was brought up as a villain, and then later it's almost like he's not really that bad of a guy at all.
Uma's not that bad. She's very charismatic. She's very smooth. She has her lover. She kind of strikes up a conversation with Ben even. And she was never in the mental ward, but her problem is she has post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh.
Is what because of what Mal did to her. Because every time when she kind of sees someone wielding a whip as a weapon, he's kind of traumatized.
Oh. But sort of brings
Harry's traumatized with fire.
Sort of brings flashbacks to them there.
And for Harry, he's fire is he freaks over with fire. He freaks out.
Oh boy.
He doesn't keep his cool with it.
So that would
They're the best couple.
That would definitely the fire, and then with her the weapons there.
Because I was since we established their kind of post-traumatic disorder, their traumatic experiences, we can kind of see Mal knows what kind of traumatic their trauma and what she did to them. So she make a whip made out of fire, and would just use that as a weapon, and that kind of scares Uma. But she uses the waves to try to push her get her to die down her flames.
Oh yeah, watch the fire out there.
Because, water can really... Right? Water versus...
To douse the fire there.
Yeah, and she's like, you can cut, in this, first, but this, first battle between them, it's the whole movie is just, them, kind of competing against each other, and he's just, having Harry kind of watch from the shadows to see if they can use Ben as kind of, as, a weakness for Mal. So they're trying to get revenge on her, but Mal's kind of, they're kind of, they're kind of, the more the lesser evils, kind of. Because she is the big bad. So maybe them doing that.
Yep. That's definitely.
Why couldn't they be a couple in the Descendants film? That would have been awesome.
It's almost like they tried to go there. I think Harry tried to kind of get close to Uma in one scene, and then she just sort of hey boy. So in their expressions, that's what it kind of gave off. She was
Uma loves, I thought, she loves Harry. She loves him very much. And Mel even, tries to use that, when she kind of realized whips are not going to get to her this time. I know what I can use. And she just, has her, perhaps her VKs, hold him down and chain him up, and this distracts Uma. And then she kind of defeats her. But, we were kind of hoping that Uma would win,
Because that was one thing somebody pointed out, a difference between Mal and Uma. Uma actually cared about the other VKs there.
And this Uma really, she has her freedom. She can do whatever she wants. But he kind of wants to, her, vision is, I want to rule the world with you at my side. With Harry at her side. And they're, this romantic couple. And they said, we can rule the villains. We can have all we want. It'll just be us. In a nice, cozy bedroom. They're teenagers, and it's the son of Gaston, who's kind of the third wheel, but not really. He just comes and goes. He's like, my God, you are teenagers.
Oh boy.
Why do you want that? He's like, why do you don't want it? He's like, because Harry said, you wanna get in? You wanna get in the bedroom with us? He's like, no. They're trying to be an open couple,
Oh my God.
Because Uma and Harry are confident in each other that nothing will break them up. So we said we can invite another person in.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, you want to join in? He said, no, I don't want to join in. You take and follow each other every second you can get. It's like when they're supposed to be spying on Mal, Harry can't help but get romantic. Uma can't help. Uma can't help herself around him. He's like, the moonlight, the night we met. Remember, I was injured in the cliff water. Couldn't get myself out. I saved you with my tentacles. And there's
and I guess Harry would be like, and such. Yes, I remember those beautiful tentacles of yours.
You were the most beautiful person I ever laid my eyes on. Why I had my broken bones. And you healed me.
Pulled me right into your gear.
Because she healed him, and he fell in love with her. They practically fell in love with each other when she was healing him.
Love at first sight.
love at first sight, and I was carrying you boy. And the third person's like, wow, you two had the most intense love meeting like forever. And they're like, what, you don't find that romantic? We actually met at a funeral, though. No, he was so beautiful. No one was looking at the corpse. And they're like, I don't even know this. They're trying to make this romantically as possible. Like they did in the Addams Family.
Oh, yeah, I remember. It was, no,
and they just...
like the graveyard scene there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're copying that. And they're like, how long is since we tangoed, Uma? Hours. And they're like, close to her, say, what's my name? And he's like, Uma. And that's the only, like, a couple times he says that. He says that to him, and he doesn't say it to anyone else. But the ironic thing is when Mal says Uma, and then like a deep canning's like Uma. Like someone orchestrated that for her.
Oh, yeah, have all his, I guess you could say have his whole crew with the musical.
And she's like, okay, every time when we say your name, are they going to constantly say that? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't orchestrate this. And it's like, and Mal's like, Uma. And he's like, yeah, I knew it.
Well, all right now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope y'all guys enjoyed that little interview discussion, mostly discussion. Well, it was quite a bit that she had to say there, and pretty interesting stuff there. I gotta tell you that I'm really looking forward to seeing that coming to fruition there. That's so be sure to if you like what you heard from her, definitely give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. Also, maybe check her channel out there. Also, then be on the lookout for Descendants Untold coming when she gets it together. And also be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well. Make sure help us out. Keep doing this and everything, and also buy some comics. And we will see you guys later. Hopefully, we'll be joining Brownie in the Scooby months, and also some live streams as well. Definitely got to have those live streams, so be looking out for those things there. Yeah, take care and see you later.